Mick Malone presides over a great team of staff and blue-blooded horses at Kitchwan Hills, just past Gundy in the New South Wales Hunter Valley. And the blood of Schnitzel is there to see in the first foals of the magnificent Sooboog. Kitchwan Hills, I mean, you know, it's such a great Aussie farm, isn't it? And really, really great to see Sooboog flying the flag here, literally, for you this season.
Yeah, it is. It's great. He's a great horse to have, and as you've seen here today, he's just a beautiful type and everything a farm would want, whether you be big or small. So we're very happy to have him. Yeah,
how do you see him this season? I mean, he's really letting down. We talk about this all the time, but describe what you see, you know, this season compared to last in Sooboog.
Yeah, I think he's obviously 1 year older, and he's covered a book of mares, so he's a lot stronger. He's a lot thicker through his neck and built up all throughout, and he's really learnt the job. You know, he's very good in the barn. He's extremely fertile. But as a type, look, he always had that look. He had that lovely, you know, he's very strong throughout, beautiful big forearms and gasket, lovely head and beautiful sort of schnitzel eye and all those things you want to see. And he just continued to go forward since you saw him last year, Carl.
Sooboog drew clear.
And, well, he won the Ori Star, of course. We know that he was a fabulous, you know, sprinty type of horse. And for Sheikh Mohammed bin Khalifa, now we know he's not only breeding some of the best horses around, but racing them too. And this fella has had a visit from Uhud, the Flight Stakes winner's mum.
He has, and among so many other nice mares, but to get Bella Sunday and with Uhud winning the Flight Stakes, it's a terrific result for him. And I guess if you look at his ownership from you know, Harry, Billy and Arthur Mitchell at Yarraman, James Harron, Peter Moody, Werritz, Whitby's and Co's, you know, some of the biggest farms around, Pete O'Brien, Sedgenho, Royston Murphy, I could go on and on. With that sort of elite ownership, you're always going to get lovely mares, and a mare like Bella Sunday just, you know, tops off that quality of mare that he has been receiving. And
look, for mare owners, there's a real smorgasbord of stallions out there, you know, between that 10 and 20,000 sort of mark. What's his point of difference, really? I mean, you know, it's if you were a mare owner and looking at what's out there, it just seems to be a huge choice. But there are so many things that really stand out about this stallion.
Yeah, I guess for me. His race record doesn't sort of sum him up. Like, if you speak to John Hawkes and Darren Weir and talk about how much ability he really had, and like, I think in Australia precocity is just so important. If you're sharp and you're early, like Sooboog had his first trial on the 22nd of September, you know, the earliest trial you can trial at, and he won by 5 lengths. And then he went into the Breeders' Stakes, which, you know, we've seen so many good horses come out of it, from Choisir to Piero to Sebring. Recently Capitalist and those sort of horses, and Vancouver, who beat Sooboog, unfortunately, who in that race, which a lot of people don't know, he fractured his pelvis and put him off the scene for a long time, and then Vancouver consequently went on to win the Golden Slipper. But so that's something that I think people have really got to look at. Like, if Sooboog had been that horse and you know, and swapped around with Vancouver and won that slipper, well, you know, there'd probably be no more valuable sort of second season stay in the country than Sooboog. He's a magnificent type. He's got that everything you want to see. So if you add his type, he's by Schnitzel, he was extremely precocious, and for me, precocity is something that's nearly every reason to be a good stand in Australia. Is more often than not, that's where they come from. He's got an amazing shareholder group, and we can't forget how important that is. Like, shareholders and quality mares make stallions, and he's got 150 of those in his first season. He's over 160 this year. So you add all those things together, and now putting foals on the ground like we're seeing. Look, I think second season stallions are always a punt, no doubt, no matter how you look at it. But putting all those things together and looking at Sooboog at 13,200, he's probably the best punt you could have all year.
We did indeed see some of the foals here today, and they're very, very impressive. Relishing, a mare by Exceed and Excel, her filly, just a gorgeous foal, the fabulous walk, and that great typical Schnitzel back end.
Yeah, we're seeing so many like that. There's not a day go by that myself and James in the office, we don't receive a phone call, you know, from a farm that's just had lovely Sooboog, just like this filly that we saw today. They're just that lovely loose action. They walk like he does. he's just stamping his stock, and when you look at him, if we ever thought he could stamp his stock, we'd be in a great position. Well, now we are, so it's terrific.
And temperament too. I mean, you know, when we filmed him out here and there are mares around, and he's just so chilled. And that foal too is a very, very confident little madam.
That's right, and obviously you can't be sure what their racing temperament is going to be like, but all the Sooboogs, of which we've had about, I think there's 19 on the farm now, and we've had so many through the crushes for trims and a bit of vetting and what's not, and they've just got a really good attitude, so hopefully that just plays on into their racing career.
And Lady of Spurs, again, a more leggy sort of filly too, but again, you know, it has that great quality and beautiful mover.
Yeah, so much, and a lot of schnitzel there too, isn't there? And actually that mare's a half-sister to Time for War, so who we obviously lost a couple of years ago. So, but again, just a lovely foal, lovely action, and he's put a lot of bays and chestnut foals on the floor, which is what schnitzel does. But we've had a lot of talk from different farms getting black foals, which is really dark brown, so that's great too. A nice brown colt at one of the up-and-coming sires would be terrific as well.
And then again, we're talking about, you know, confidence in these foals. The Glycerine colt, he was just lovely and didn't want a bar of mum, but he again, just that strength, that real sort of sprinty, precocious strength already as a baby.
Yeah, that's right. And if you have a look at him too, like he's got that beautiful bone and forearm and lovely head and eye, just like his dad, and like you see with a lot of those sons of Schnitzel or Schnitzel himself. But the mare herself's by Bellesprit, and the owner won't mind me saying she's a little rough in front, as you can see, and often Bellesprits can be a little rough in front. But looking at him here today, how he's improved her like tenfold, and that's one thing. Sooboog is an extremely correct Schnitzel, son of Schnitzel, and he seems to be putting really good legs on them, and they've got such substance too. So it's a really good, another great thing for Sooboog going forward.
From Dubious is ticking on well. He's left.
And it's you know, spring is such a brilliant time, isn't it? In the particularly the Hunter Valley, or you know, anywhere you're breeding horses, but also on the racetrack. And it was so great to see your Kitchwin brand on Dubious winning the Breeders' Plate just recently. Ellie Kazum, of course, a mare you bought, a group winner, and of course Pirata flying the flag as well.
Yeah, it is. It's terrific. All farms need results. At the end of the day, the sale ring for us is really just a stepping stone towards the big thing. And it's terrific to see some of these horses getting off the farm and running for us.
And the other great thing, of course, with Sheikh Mohammed bin Khalifa being involved with this horse, he will retain, obviously we'll see a lot of these, you know, Sooboogs at the weanling sales and yearling sales going forward, but he'll race a number of them and they'll go to the very, very best of stables.
Well, we know that's for sure with Sheikh bin Khalifa and Tim Stakemeyer. They're great supporters of Australian racing, and they do give them to the best. And I know that, you know, I think via Tim and Sheikh bin Khalifa, they're entitled to about 10 noms to Sooboog each year, but last year they sent 23, and this year they're up to about 21, so 21 mares. So knowing that they do race them with the best, they'll certainly sell some of the best, so that gives him another great profile by putting some of these beautiful pedigreed mares that, you know, a lot of those mares walk in from Coolmore, and that Coolmore truck's here nearly every day. So it's a terrific start for the horse, and not just Sheikh bin Khalifa. There's so many of the guys in the ownership, from Trevor Lobb to Peter Moody, that will be racing these stock. So getting on the back of Sooboog, you know, this year would be a great thing to do, because when you're selling your yearling, he'll have his 2-year-olds on the track, and if they're as precocious as he was, they should go nice and early.